morning! So I recently asked you what you would like to ask me. I figured I would do a little Q&A video since there's a lot of new followers here and also on my Instagram. So I figured I would just answer some questions while doing other stuff around here. And I thought I would just answer the first question while having my morning coffee and supervising Tyra. She's out for a little morning stroll. I don't let her roam around alone. I only let her out when I am outside, just to make sure there's no predators or anything like that, and just to keep an eye on her so she doesn't kill birds. Yeah, I would love to build her a little outdoor cage so she could go outside whenever she wants without supervision and then roam free when I am here to look after her. She's really good about staying close and also coming when I call for her, so might change as she gets older, and then I'll just have to rethink if I want to let her outside to roam freely at all. But yeah, anyways. So the first question I figured I would answer is how I ended up here, how I came to live here, and what led up to that. So I am a former city girl, I guess you could say. I've always spent a lot of time in the countryside with animals, but I did live in the city for pretty much my whole life before moving here. And it was maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, I really started thinking about moving to the countryside, and my mom was also looking for a place to spend her summers. So my dad used to rent this place for over 15 years. We had horses here when I was younger, and so it was a familiar place for my family, and my dad definitely knew everything about this place. So it just happened to be a time when he actually had to move out of here, and when he did, he heard from the owners that they were planning on selling this place. And of course we were instantly very interested because my mom had been looking for a place to buy. I also really dreamed of a countryside house and also a stable, and there's actually like a huge stable in the yard here. And the owners obviously preferred to have someone buy this place that they kind of knew, because they own all the land around here and they work the fields here. So that is sort of how I came to live here. We agreed on a price and bought this place, and so just a series of lucky events, I guess, sort of brought me here, and it sort of felt kind of meant to be, and I very much enjoy living here. So now I need to go take this package to the post office. It is a painting I sold last week. It's the Snail Friend. Kind of bittersweet to see it go. I really love this painting, but I'm very happy to have sold it. Also, I got a new table. I still need to do a lot of arranging cords and everything. Also, I am going to get something different for my 3D printer, but look at this. Wow. Uh-oh. Yeah, also figure out where to put all my plants, because this is not going to be a plant stand. It's going to be a work desk, a standing work desk, so that I can package my paintings and also maybe work on some paintings on here, because the desk where I have my computer is just packed full, and honestly I need to upgrade that as well as at some point. So let's take this to the post office. Special deliveries gets to ride shotgun. This is such a bad habit. I'm usually pretty healthy about things, but I do love myself a little Red Bull. Also need to clean my car. Okay, I don't know. It'll probably drop when I start driving. Should we put a seatbelt on you as well, just in case? Just in case. This back here. There we go. Okay, let's see. So this brings me to my next question, which was, do I make a living of my art? I can see anything. The answer is yes and no. So currently I work a second job. I work at a stable close by, just to have sort of a base income that I can trust to get every month. Okay, let's see if this works better, and I hope you can hear me. I'm just gonna... So, where was I? Yeah, I just took a job at the stable just to have a more reliable income, and so I work there for 4 days a week, and then the rest of the week I work on art stuff and YouTube and social media and everything. It's a lot right now, and I definitely would love to go back to just working on art and social media, which I have done in the past, but that sort of requires to, anytime you make a little more money 1 month, you have to put a lot of it aside and save it. Usually you don't make that amount every month. What I am doing now is basically working on building my business in a way where the income would be a bit more reliable, and then in addition selling my paintings for like an extra little income. So yes and no, I have been able to somewhat live off of my art, but it's extremely unreliable, and you definitely have to save up everything extra you get. Okay, I'm back in my studio, and let's now do a little voiceover here while you watch me work on this little skull cabin painting. So someone asked me to talk a bit about my art and how I've improved and evolved over the years. This answer could probably be an entire video on its own, but I'm going to try to keep it short. So I have narrowed it down to 3 things that I think have been the most important for my art journey. So number 1 is always drawing or painting things that I like or feel passionate about. This will probably change over the years. It has for me. I started out only drawing horses, then I did some manga, and then all kinds of animals, and then I went to drawing celebrities, and now I've combined animals and people with skulls and stuff, I guess. Number 2 is do it a lot, over and over and over again. It's probably pretty obvious, but this is how I've improved my skill over the years. Just doing and expressing and experimenting with different mediums, and even studying different artists' styles and imitating them for practice to see what you like and how it materializes when you try to imitate it. And then number 3 is for sure using reference photos, trying to draw or paint a copy of a photo for practice, and always looking at photos and really studying colors and textures when I think of something that I want to paint. I can't stress enough how much this has helped me to, first of all, learn to paint what I see, but then also to sort of branch off and paint what I can't see but what I have in my head. Yeah, I think I only scraped the surface here, but I hope this at least somewhat answered that question. So I'm going to let the dogs out in the yard and take you with me to the stable. There's a little bit of rat poop here, but let's not let that bother us. So I'm now sitting in my stable, and I figured this is the perfect place to answer the next question. Sorry, for some reason the light is really bugging my eyes right now because I've been sitting inside for quite a few hours painting. If I'm sort of squinting, it's because my eyes are really light sensitive. Anyways, so it's the perfect place to answer the next question, which is, will I ever get horses for my stable, and if so, what kind? I would really like to, and I have been seriously considering it lately, as I have sort of gotten back into the whole horse keeping with my job. I have been into horses most of my life, so it's nothing new, but just sort of getting back into it, I now feel a little bit more confident in keeping and taking care of horses again. Like I said previously, we have had horses here before, but they were not my responsibility back then because I was like 14. I would love to get horses one day, but right now it still feels like a little too big of a responsibility. And one thing is obviously you can't just have one, you need at least 2 horses, preferably even more, which means it's gonna get expensive. So yeah, money is one thing. The other thing is the care is pretty extensive, and I need to do a little bit of planning to set it up in a way that fits me. This stable obviously has stalls. It would be more ideal to have horses that would roam outside and just have a sort of little shelter that they can freely walk in and out of 24/7. That is what I would prefer. So yeah, I would love to, not right now, maybe in the future if I figured this whole thing out. The second part of the question is what kind of horse? I have a few alternatives that I quite like. So first of all, a couple of mini ponies or like Shetland ponies would be really nice. Partially just to have as company horses, or company for a horse that I would actually ride. But then again, I am not super interested in the riding part anymore specifically. I would probably be more just hiking in nature and stuff like that. Then there's of course the Finn horse, the national horse of Finland, which is always a good option. They're just really horses that are fit for all kinds of use. My favorite option, which is one that I have loved since I was really young, is the North Swedish horse. Very similar, I guess, to the Finn horse, a sort of cold-blooded draft horse. Perception I have of their personality seems to be fit for a place like this, and yeah. Also, of course, just since I'm a pretty small-sized adult, any slightly larger pony would also be a good option. I prefer ponies over large horses in general, but I do really love like big, bulky, cold-blooded horses as well. But there's still a lot of stuff to go through before I can get to actually getting horses, maybe, probably. Another question I get quite often is if my hair is natural or if I dye it. I obviously dye it. If it's not naturally this color, I use a plant-based henna hair dye for my hair. I have been for the past over 5 years at least, and I sometimes use some other plant-based dyes with my henna, so mainly indigo and cassia, just to sort of influence the hue of my hair tone. Another question is, do I have a sauna? And yes, of course I do have a sauna. I am Finnish, but I currently don't have a stove. This is my sauna. I showed it in a previous video in the winter time, but now there is a lot more light, so you can maybe see a little bit better. I have this for warming water, but I do not have a stove. As you can see, the stove would go right there. But other than that, a fully functional and actually pretty fresh new sauna, so we need to get the stove so I can finally use my own sauna. Next question while I paint the last part of the house. What's my favorite Finnish season? And while I can find good things in every season for sure, I think I would still have to say Finnish summer is unbeatable, and specifically I really love the end of summer, when you get to enjoy and harvest all the things you've been growing over the summer, and the days are still light and long, but it does get dark in the evenings and you can actually see the star sky really nicely, and you can see a lot of bats, and there's a lot of mist and fog, and around August, that's my absolute favorite time of the year, I think. And the last question while I have some evening tea is, isn't it lonely and don't you get scared living out there in the darkness? And no, I don't get lonely. I quite like the solitude, honestly. I also do like to host, and I really like when my family and friends come to visit, but I have my animals and that's enough company for me for the most part. If the darkness is scary, no, I honestly feel like it's sort of comforting and it feels sort of like a safe space. I obviously have some security stuff set in place. I have security cameras and a good support system and people to call if I need anything. And in a small village area like this, you quickly learn to know the people living around here, and people are usually really helpful. So yeah, no, it doesn't get scary. I feel quite safe. That's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching, and I really hope you will come back for more videos. Bye!